Hello, internet friends. I just kind of wanted to check in from my last video where I went through this very internal episode of finally, after years and years of feeling so much hatred, finally finding in myself the gratitude for my mother, who was my biggest abuser throughout my life, and just generally not someone that I'd ever want to be like. But I'm still grappling with it, but I had that first moment in my entire life where I thanked her, and it was a huge release of emotions. And I really feel like I had like a breakthrough in a way, and I wanted to share where that went afterwards. The next day I woke up and I was feeling horrible. I was feeling angry and depressed. I got on my phone as soon as I got up. I was feeling impatient and frustrated and just like all of this stuff. And it made me feel kind of like my moment of clarity and peace had been fraudulent, even though I know in my heart that it was very real for me. But so I felt myself starting to feel this way. And then I started to pile on to myself and like really degrade myself for having a bad day. And I stopped and I laughed and I was like, wait, this is exactly what I knew would happen. I didn't know it would happen so soon, but I knew that again, the lows would come. But I knew this time, this is a test to see if I can get myself out of it, to see if I can cultivate that inner peace when all I have is seemingly inner turmoil, right? That transmutation. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, on Saturday, I slept most of the day. I asked myself, why am I feeling this way? And I was like, well, I feel tired. I'm exhausted. And so luckily, it was a Saturday. My dad was able to spend time with my son, so he wasn't just like by himself while I slept, obviously. But so I gave myself time to sleep. I slept pretty much all day off and on, just like taking naps, and I was just very tired and very drained and low energy feeling. But I did not add on to it by making myself feel guilty for it. I actually was able to feel this sort of sense of peace. Once I realized like what was going on, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go take a bath and just soak and just, because I was in a lot of physical pain really, and a lot of times that is what is dragging me down mentally, is that I'll wake up and I'm so stiff and it hurts to move, and like it doesn't make anyone feel good, right? It's hard to feel good rather when your body feels like garbage. So yeah, but so I slept most of Saturday, but again, this was one of those times where I would say I was suffering without suffering. And it was a really weird experience to have. I mean, really, I just slept most of the day. But I didn't make myself feel bad for it. Because no one was hurt by it. Nothing got fucked up or anything. I just literally needed sleep. And so I slept for pretty much all Saturday. And then yesterday, Sunday, I went and saw one of my best friends, and I had a really great day. And so it was interesting when I was there, like I hadn't even said anything much. I was just kind of smiling because I was very happy to be there. And my friend was like, you just seem so happy. And I was like, I am really happy. And so it kind of was a little validating of like, yeah, this happiness, it's real. It just doesn't stay forever. And that's I've been really angry about that for a really long time. And since Friday, where I thanked my mother and just had this huge release of like blockage in my heart chakra or whatever, I'm no longer upset that the happiness doesn't stay, because now I really truly fully see and feel and understand that if the happiness was there forever, I would take it for granted, and I would not recognize it as happiness. I would recognize it as normalcy, and I would be feeling empty, looking for more, right? So I needed every lowest of the low to be able to appreciate not just the highest of the highs, but the mundane as well, the boring, the normal. And so every day since then, I feel like I've gotten a more clear picture of what exactly I can take from that whole experience. And so, if I just wanted to share this, because like if you are someone who is going through your own kind of spiritual understandings and breakthroughs and stuff, and you find that you have this beautiful moment of bliss and ecstasy and happiness, and then the next day you're just fucking exhausted, and that can manifest into all kinds of things. When we're tired, we can be really crappy and then it's gonna make you feel fake, right? It's not about that. It's about, this is the test from the universe, right? When we ask for inner peace, when we ask for comfort and contentment, we aren't given that by the universe. We are given an opportunity to develop it within ourselves. So if I want inner peace, the universe gave me inner turmoil. And I think, I might have failed the test in the morning, but after I took that bath, after I started to become aware of why I was feeling this way, made me easier on myself, and it made it easier to go through, I guess. So yeah, I by allowing myself to sleep, I did some bit of damage control because I wasn't getting irritable with anyone in my home, and so that's kind of all I could really ask of myself that I can think of now. But then yesterday I had a really great day, and it was full of joy and genuine connection and love and support, and it was just beautiful. And so I wanted to say too that on Saturday, when I was having my bad morning and I took my bath, I had this like phrase come to me, and I'm not sure where I've heard it from, but it was, have the day you choose. And I laughed, because really we'll have the day we choose to have, whether consciously or subconsciously, right? And I think most of my life I have chosen to subconsciously have bad days, like a lot, because I would wake up on the wrong side of the bed and feel like I was the victim of a bad day, right? But we're not. We can experience it that way. If that's the way we want to see it, we will experience it that way, right? But with that understanding in mind, that means also too, if we choose to have a better day, we will. If we actively, consciously say, I'm going to look for ways to make my day brighter, or maybe I'm going to look for ways to make others smile, or make myself feel peaceful. All these different things we can choose to have the day we want to have. We can look for the opportunities to have the day we want to have, rather. It doesn't mean we're magical and we suddenly create luck for ourselves. I can't say, I'm going to win the lottery today, and then I buy a scratcher and win. That's not how it works. It's just that the universe will give us opportunities for these ideas of what we want our day to be like, and so I know this is kind of rambling, and God, I'm not gonna lie, I was watching this YouTube video about this bodybuilder guy that drank a bunch of ayahuasca and went fucking insane. Literally just like his ego tried to die, and then it came back like 12-fold. And the crazy thing is that he was saying some things, and I was like, oh yeah, I agree with that. And I was like, oh shit, am I crazy too? But the thing is, like, he's on one, like, an ego trip, putting all kinds of crazy, like, super self-centered, egotistical stuff on in his videos and stuff. And maybe I come off as self-centered, I don't know. But it really just interesting, and re-highlighted the truth to me of that too much light blinds you, so, while his ayahuasca trip showed him that he was God, and we are all God, we're all facets of God. I do agree with that as at least a concept in a way, but then he kind of got stuck on, like, he's God and he can, like, manipulate the universe, and I was like, well, that's not I don't agree with that, and I don't think... My phone cut me off, I ran out of time, but anyways, I was gonna say, that guy, what's his name, Connor Murphy, yeah, really good example of how psychedelics, while they can at a certain point lead to an understanding of the intangible beyond what the mind is generally capable of comprehending, at the same time too, overuse I think leads to schizophrenia-like behaviors, a general detachment from reality, and a general boost in egotistical qualities. And I've seen this not just with that guy is a very prominent example, but I've seen very, like, more subtle examples in other people who what I would say use psychedelics as a recreational thing rather than a spiritual kind of quest, right? And so when that line becomes blurred, I think you slip into delusion and psychosis, and I think that really definitely needs to be talked about. Like I've said kind of in other videos, I think that understanding the spiritual nature of humanity also honors that we have to take care of the physical realm as well, because spirit, in a way, like it needs the physical body to experience life, right? Because otherwise it's all conceptual and intangible. And so the physical reality is so special and so beautiful because it gives the spiritual, the intangible, a means of manifestation or expression. And so we really, it's about balancing mind, body, and spirit, not neglecting the physical to indulge in spiritual truths, which, sure, maybe they are spiritual truths. Maybe you have this really cool understanding of the metaphysical and whatever, but if you're not taking care of the physical realm, one, no one's going to take you seriously, and two, you're not taking care of yourself. This guy was taking ayahuasca every 2 hours. It's a lot. And like his home had become like a hoarder's home, there was trash everywhere. He was like, I can't clean, I'm like too busy discovering these truths. And it's like, bro, the truth is that your apartment probably smells like garbage. Take those trash bags out. Not to joke, this is serious. This is like mental illness, but it is self-induced, I believe, like mental illness, and maybe he had some kind of genetic predisposition for it. But I do think it's a really good warning of like, we have to be in balance. Being out of balance in any regard, I think, is unhealthy. And I do think that a lot of the people who we're not calling crazy are out of balance still, with the spiritual and even with the mind. A lot of Americans, at least, we're very out of balance with the mind. Really, even just me growing up in my childhood, mental health was not something we talked about. Mental illness was something to be ashamed of. And so coming from that, and really learning to put the mind in alignment with the body and spirit is going to be a challenge for a lot of people, I think, coming from those negative connotations and stereotypes of what mental health and mental health care in general just is, and like how it's not taboo like we were taught. But so yeah, I went on the rant about that guy just to kind of, because it is part of what I've been going through in my own spiritual understanding, my own spiritual journey, which we're all on a spiritual journey, whether or not we're cognizant of it, regardless of what everyone's individual goals are, our spirits are here and they are on a journey, right? And so, I just kind of wanted to touch base with anyone who maybe saw my super happy, hopeful videos of like my new understanding, making the mundane sacred. These are all still applicable, but I'm also still gonna have bad days because I'm also still human. I'm also still in a body with a brain that doesn't always work great. And with the difference is now when I have those bad days, I understand this is a test. This, not only is it a test, it is something still to be grateful for, which is so counterintuitive for me. But yeah, my bad mood is something to be grateful for, because without my bad mood, I wouldn't see my good mood, right? And I know that sounds so fucking fortune cookie-esque. But still, it doesn't make it any less true. So I have, in a way, found a new way to experience life. Even when I am suffering, I don't feel the same suffering I once felt. The agony and the anguish over feeling like shit doesn't exist now. And it's crazy too, when I am in this, at least on Saturday, when I was in this bad mood, and I found myself trying to be grateful for the bad mood, my bad mood did improve. I was still exhausted, and I still honored my body's need to rest, an abnormal amount. But today, I don't feel tired. I did nap a little bit yesterday as well, more than usual, after visiting with my friend. But yeah, I don't feel guilty for the things I was feeling guilty for, like needing to nap, or for being tired, or for not feeling super happy. And that has helped me feel even more happy to not be on myself and chastising myself for not feeling joyful, right? So yeah, I just want to pass along this little message. Sorry about it being in 2 parts. My phone's dumb and I had a bunch of old videos still in my trash folder, so it said I didn't have any room to record videos. So yay, technology. But yeah. So I hope that anyone who finds themselves on a similar journey, if you're reaching this beautiful understanding, this breakthrough, and you are hitting nirvana and you're like, wow, this is great and beautiful, and the next day you feel like shit, it's okay. This is your opportunity to grow that inner peace, to take that inner turmoil that you feel helpless against and actually take control over it and realize who's in control in your mind, and it's you. It's always been you. Even if it didn't always feel like you, it's always been you in control of your mind. And to also just give a little warning too to people, like, we're in control of our own minds and not other people's minds. If you start to believe you can control other people's minds, it is time to go to a psych ward and seek assistance and stop whatever psychedelics you're doing. You know? So yeah, like I have said too previously, like, the closer and closer we get to understanding spiritual truths, the more we will see that it is not just us, that it is everyone that is capable of this. With the crazy Connor Murphy guy believing that we're all God, I agree. But in that regard, that doesn't make one person more special than the other. We all have this. And two, what I thought was very interesting with him, just he was like he had this video where he was like sobbing about how his parents weren't happy. And that's the ego. It's the projection. Clearly he's not happy. He's sobbing, right? Unless it didn't seem like a happy cry. It seemed like a sad cry. And so here's this sad person crying about how other people aren't happy like him. That's an ego trap. He's not happy. And while it is very sad to experience bliss and nirvana and understand that not everyone reaches that, it is sad. But we don't force it on people. He made all these videos trying to like force enlightenment on people, and it's like, bro, that is not. Enlightenment, spiritual understanding is shown. Other people see it when we understand it. And even if they don't, that doesn't make them understand it, also they see it. And in a way, this unlocks a kind of key for them to ruminate on this and think and figure their own way to where we got. Because that's the thing, that happiness, I can't show anyone how to get there. I can tell them every single thing I did and every single thing I thought, but I cannot take them there. They have their own issues they have to work through, they have their own blockages, they have their own story, and they are going to have to figure out what it is to experience that for themselves, how to get there on their own. And that's what I think every true like medicine person, shaman type person who is actually showing people to spiritual truths understands, is that they could walk down the exact same path that the shaman did and get absolutely nothing from it. It's not about the path. It's about finding your own journey on the path, right? And so yeah, I just kind of wanted to share where I was at, my little tidbit and whatnot before I have to go to work today, because I thought it was important. And I know there's not like a huge number of people watching these videos, but I did get like 20 views on one of my random rants, which was surprising because like, wow, 20 people wanted to hear me talk about my own bullshit. But you know, just I want to make sure that I don't ever give people false hope or misguide people. And if I have misguided people or have said things in previous videos that I end up disagreeing with, I like to let people know, like, this is where I'm at now, and it doesn't invalidate necessarily what I said then, because whenever I make these videos, everything I'm saying, I believe at the time, right? And I believe it to be true. I'm saying it with no bad intentions, right? But also too, we are growing and we are learning, all of us, and so we may come to a new understanding, and I don't think that's anything to be ashamed of. I don't think it says anything bad about who you were. I think it's something to be proud of, to be able to grow into a new understanding. And so, as always, take everything I say with a grain of salt. I am on my own path, and I share my path here to help you be inspired to find your own path as well, because no one can take my path and get what I got out of it, right? And no one can take your path and get what you get out of it. So it's your chance to go and find that special piece that is you in your path to understanding and learning and growing as a human and as a spiritual being, you know, because we are both. And again, it's so funny how the last like few months I've been talking about the unity of duality, and now it's tying into this understanding. It really is like the spiral staircase where we're going up and we're hitting the same points, but we have a new level of understanding, right? And so too, humanity embodies this unity duality principle where we are dual nature. We are both spiritual, intangible, and we are both physical, very tangible, very, you know. And though it seems as though these are two separate parts of us, we would not be who we are without both. We as human are one. To be human is not just to be physical, but to also have a spiritual, soulful nature, right? And so in of ourselves, humanity is the unity behind duality. Human is spiritual and physical, with these two parts that seem so opposite, because they are. You know, they're opposite in nature, yet their oppositeness is a spectrum of which we are. I don't know. I'm babbling. But you know, it's just so interesting to really come to that understanding too, because I hadn't really thought of the dual nature of humanity really yet. But it's interesting. So in that dual nature, we need to find the balance between the both. We can't go too far off into the woo-woo bullshit, and we can't go, well, we can. You can live a life physically in reality where you're only concerned with the physical, but as I kind of shared in one of my other videos, like, it's really not fulfilling. I struggled a lot with very strong depression and anxiety and all of that. So getting stuck in the physical doesn't seem to be what would be healthy and balanced for me, at least. I don't know about others. So yeah, I just wanted to share my perspective. And as always, keep finding your own perspectives, keep seeking your own truth, and keep walking your own path. Much love to everyone out there.